Valencia, Spain's third biggest city located on the eastern coast, home to some 2.5 million people. It's a true jewel of a place to live, but with the historic city center at the heart of it, getting around is no easy feat. You have to be creative to find transport solutions here, especially so when you're gambling on a looming crisis and spending more than you feasibly have. So was the case here more than 10 years ago, when the infamous construction of a metro line was abandoned overnight. Up until 2008, Valencia was home to some of Spain's most outrageous public spending. Formula One racetracks, huge entertainment venues, metro lines, you name it, it was under construction here. One of such grandiose projects was the T2 line of Metrovalencia, a new foray into public transport in the historic city center.
Van a viajar cuando esta obra de metro se ponga en marcha en nuestra comunidad en transporte público, administrado por la Generalitat Valenciana, más de 100 millones de viajeros al año. Más de 100 millones.
The new line would connect the far-out district of Nazaret with the historic city center, passing through the heart of tourism, the city of arts and sciences, a Calatrava-designed piece of enormous controversy in the city. Works on the line began in 2007 and progressed swiftly. 4 underground stations were built and tracks were installed on the at-grade section of the line.
Solo en inversión de infraestructura de transporte público, que es en los términos en los que se piensa en la alta velocidad, más de la mitad ha invertido mi gobierno, más de la mitad que lo que va a invertir el Estado en la alta velocidad.
Following Francisco Camps, the president of the Generalitat at the time, the spending here was enormous. With that said, you probably know the drill by now and know what comes next. With the arrival of the crisis in 2008, everything came tumbling down for the T2 project. What you're now seeing are the same tunnels as just a second before, but in 2017, filmed by Marc Villas, a Spanish urbex YouTuber. Gone are the politicians, machinery and pride. The shallow underground sections of the line are flooded to the point where this urbex duo decided to traverse them using a raft. Over the years, these tunnels gained notoriety for such occurrences, with illegal botellón parties being held there, break-ins, and lawsuits against people like the said YouTuber for entering them. This raises a question. What do you have to do to make things so terribly bad for such a project? Well, let's start from the beginning, shall we? The footage on your screen is from 2019, demonstrating the state of decay in which the line was at the time. Until the halting of construction, 5.2 kilometers of the line were constructed at the cost of 190 million euros, with 160 million euros still required to complete it. This indefinite halt took place in 2011, when funds ran dry and the central government was in no position to help the community fund the rest of the projects, owing it to the crisis at hand. The line was thus abandoned. Tunnels started flooding and maintaining them required 400,000 euros a year from this point on. In 2019, the line was renamed to T10 to reflect the current network status, and 50 million euros were secured to restart works on a portion of it. The budget overruns are thus obvious. The line will cost roughly 19% more than the initial estimate with all the new costs in mind, totaling to more than 430 million euros. As of today, the works are back in full swing after being restarted in June of 2019. They encompass the first stage between Calle Alicante and Amado Granel and are slated for completion in the summer of 2021. It is at this point when further plans for the line will be decided on. Playing now is an official video from the Generalitat showing how the ill-fated T10 will look in around a year. A modern, cheaper alternative for a full-blown metro line is just what Valencia needs in this crowded historic city center. Therefore, one can only be glad that after more than 10 years of serious mistakes being made, at least a part of this project will see the light of day. Unfortunately, this is just a snippet of what was to be constructed, as Nazaret is not going to be connected to this line anytime soon. The same goes for the Mercat station, where a parking lot was opened last year, as with no tunnels connecting it with the other stations, it's destined to sit abandoned for years to come. This also means that the initial vision of this line forming a branch of the system at the Ponte de Fusta interchange at the other side of town is no longer a reality as well. If the T10 is a lesson in anything, it's in what Spain already knows well at this point. Overspending to win political favors, poor timing of grand investments, and riding on the temporary wave of increased income all contributed to the economic downfall of this country after 2008 and the crisis that ensued. Only time will tell if this was a lesson learned, and as all points to it, this time will actually be now. We can just hope that Spain is a little more prepared this time around. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button below to let me know and join the discussion in the comments section as well. I'll have more of these videos, specifically concerning Valencia, coming really soon, so subscribe not to miss out on them. This series also has already visited some other failed investments like the Ciudad Real International Airport that you can watch here as well. So thank you for tuning in to the Spanish Error 404.